Champ and former Detroit Lion Lomas Brown. I'm Dannie Rogers. Detroit's offense came in averaging 34 points per game. Number one in the NFL, held to just 17. Why?
I mean, Danny, you got to give the Chiefs a lot of credit. Steve Spagnuolo is one of the best defensive coordinators that this league has ever seen, four-time Super Bowl champion. He had a great game plan. What they wanted to do was stop our run. And as you know, everything we do is kind of predicated off the run game. We weren't able to just get it going like we normally do. It then opened up things for Jared. And they just did a nice job. But when they had the opportunity to tackle our guys, they were making good, solid tackles. So kudos to the Chiefs. They played a really good game defensively.
92 rushing yards in the first half for Detroit. That's the most they've had in a first half all season long. That run game was non-existent in the second half. What happened to it?
I mean, again, Jameer, he did a nice job in the first half. But, again, you have to give Kansas City credit. I think what they did was they just started making adjustments. They had one guy deep. They didn't worry about the safety being up deep. They had them towards the line of scrimmage. I thought they did a nice job, especially Nick Bolton and the rest of those guys. The linebackers did a nice job of coming off blocks. And, again, making solid tackles, Danny, because normally Jameer makes guys miss. David makes guys miss. They just weren't able to do it tonight.
For the second time this season in 6 weeks, Detroit's run defense gives up over 100 rushing yards. But the story of the night was the secondary, battered with injuries. You're down two of your starting corners. Avonte Maddox and Def Peace down for tonight. And then the safeties came in here questionable. Defensively, they couldn't hold back Patrick Mahomes.
And what you have to do, too, think about it, Danny, you get all these new guys got back there. They don't know all the plays. They don't know all the Calvin Shepherd system. So what you have to do is kind of dumb it down or go to a couple of plays. And when you're going up against a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, who's seen everything, it's going to be very hard to keep this guy or to fool this guy. And we weren't able to do it. We played a lot more zone than we normally play because we're a heavy man team. And again, he just picked us apart. Him and Travis Kelce just found holes in our zone, and they just kept exploiting it.
Detroit defense did not have a lot of answers for Patrick Mahomes. Let's see if head coach Dan Campbell has some answers. He's standing by at the podium now.
Let me start with this. I love Brian Branch, but what he did is inexcusable. And it's not going to be accepted here. It's not what we do. It's not what we're about. I apologize to Coach Reed and the Chiefs and and Schuster. That's not okay. That's not what we do here, and it's not going to be okay. He knows it. Our team knows it, and so that's not what we do. As far as the game, we just didn't make the plays that needed to make. We were able to do some things good in phases at times, but not enough for a team like that. With the pedigree they have, the way they play back at their house, we could not complement each other, and we weren't able to really make it a game. We really weren't. So that's really the story of the game.
What level of disappointment you have overall?
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed because it's been a long time since you're watching somebody kneel it 3 times in front of you, and it's not even close. You're down 2 scores. I mean, we got worked pretty good. So yeah, it's disappointing. It's really disappointing.
How were they able to kind of take control of that game in the second half?
Well, I'd say, look, they got some things going. Really from the time that they came out at halftime, they were able to take it all the way down and, turn that into points, which, they did it at the end of the half, too. So they kind of got the twofer because we couldn't get points on the offensive side. And really we knew, more importantly, I felt like this was going to be a game that we were going to need to score 30 points at least. And we couldn't. That's to me is where more of this kind of came. We weren't able to get the points required, to give ourselves a chance here at the end of the game. And defensively, yeah, there's some things that we had opportunities there that we have to capitalize on. We got no takeaways, just a couple of things that showed up. But really, the offense, man, is we knew we needed to show up here that needed to show up, and we weren't able to do it. 17 is not enough. It's not enough. It's not close.
Speaking of the offense, very uncharacteristic for Saint to have a drop like that. You called it nice you had an opportunity. But that seemed to be a big swing. They were able to go down and double hit there in the second half. Just uncharacteristic of Brian. Just how big of a moment did that end up being?
Yeah, I mean, but I go back to this. It does. Look, Saints made a ton of plays for us, and really, what frustrates you more than anything is that, okay, then after that point, then what's the next play we got to make to get ourselves back in it? That's the where's it going to come from? We're going to get the takeaway on defense or special teams or offense when we get time to answer back. Can we go down and do something with it? And we didn't convert. It was fourth down. It was a big play, but there's a number of plays, and I really felt like, speaking of the first half, there was 3 plays in there. We make any one of them, and the game is really a lot different in the first half. So, we didn't do it. We didn't do it.
Sorry, what 2 plays maybe come to mind? Or the Saint one,
yeah.
2 others.
We had a couple of penalties that were big that hurt us at the wrong times, and that drop hurt. Those are. We get off the field on some of those on defense. So.
Kansas City got a lot of pre-snap motion, a lot more than usual, and they were using a lot of crossing patterns. Did they confuse your defense at all?
No, I wouldn't say that. I felt like, everything that they had really shown is what we had worked on. What they do a good job of is they create rubs, with those. And so it's one thing to know who you have, your responsibility. It's another to get through the trash, right? So they do a great job of it, and we just couldn't get through some of that stuff. And, we got picked a couple of times on those, and they executed. We didn't.
What explanation did you get from the refs on the Goff touchdown overturned, and did you agree with the explanation?
It doesn't matter if I agree or disagree. It was.
Did they explain it suitably?
Doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. So I know it came from New York, and they said he never stopped. He stayed in motion. He can't stay in motion. That was that. So that had no bearing on the game. I mean, we lost by 13 points.
You go 15 plays, nearly 10 minutes in that first drive. Just where did the offense lose that consistency?
Yeah, I wish I could tell you right now without going back and watching the film. We had a pretty good flow going. Wanted to be able to run it out there. We broke some good runs, and but I know if you get a TFL or you get a no gain, and then you have an incompletion, and now you're 3rd and 10, and you don't. I mean, it's one thing to try to want to. Continue to get first downs, but if you can't even get in position to go for it and get first downs, that's tough, man. And we ended up in that boat about 3 different times, so that's hard. But we'll watch the film and we'll clean this stuff up, and we're gonna have to. I mean, Tampa Bay's coming in; they're a good football team, so we're gonna have to be ready. I mean, they're all good, and it's not gonna get any easier. These only get harder and harder as you go, and they're more meaningful every game that we go. But, I go back to this. Maybe we needed this, Maybe we needed to get kicked around a little bit, because that's what happened.
You knew it was going to be tough. They were desperate. They needed the win. You were missing a bunch of defensive backs. Was it about as you anticipated? Is that why you tried a lot of, again, offensive things early on, controlling the ball for so long?
I mean, you feel like the offense is going to need to carry more of this load, That's the way I felt, just knowing where we were going into this game defensively. And so with that, then they've got to be able to do more for us, and we just weren't able to put up enough points. I mean, that's the bottom line.
A couple more guys looked severely hobbled after coming back in the game at times. Can you just explain, is that something that you're worried about making it worse, or how do you make that decision?
Well, I think if we have time to, if he gets some significant time off, I think this thing will calm down, But unfortunately, we don't have time. We just tried to calm it down as much as we could and get him out here to where he's ready to play. He felt good enough to play, and we gave him a go. And, I would like to say that once we get to the bye, this thing will calm down. That's what we believe. But we won't know until we do it, until it happens.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Did the offensive performance surprise you in any way?
Surprised me? I guess I just, I don't know if surprised me. Look, we felt like we could do some things in the run game, and then, we'd be able to open it up in the pass game. The only thing that surprised me, I thought we'd make more plays in some of these critical moments that we absolutely needed it, when the defense needed us, and we just couldn't quite get there, It was one of those just kind of odd days. It didn't go our way, It's one thing here, one thing there, one player here, one player there, or the call, or it's everybody, man. We all got a hand in this. So, and that's what happened. When you win, man, everybody's kind of doing their part, and everybody's complimenting each other. And when you don't, it's just, man, it's one thing here, one thing there, and we just can't quite overcome it with one of the other units. That's what happened,
Just forgetting about how the officials called it, do you have any second thoughts about that trick play down at the 1 yard line on fourth down?
You mean just whether I would not do it again?
Yeah, or try something different, or?
No, we're trying to get in the end zone. They got in the end zone. I don't know what else to do. So, but yeah, I guess we could do something else to get in the end zone. But no, I don't second guess it, And there again, we had plenty of plays to make that we didn't make. We didn't even make it. We didn't do enough. We didn't do enough.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Yep.
Guys, your prior success has put you at the top of the power rankings list. That's a good thing, right?
Well, just means you've gone from the underdog to the favorite.
But those expectations come from prior success, so that's okay.
What about Cure? Where do you guys rank on the power list?
Actually, we just got named by Forbes as one of the best car insurance companies in America.
Now you're the favorite.
Guess we have a lot in common.
Go Cure.
Go Lions.
Cure Auto Insurance. Drive well.
Detroit Lions Live is brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Log on to cure.com to see how you can save. Detroit was only down 3 points going into halftime, but that was their first time they did not lead in halftime since the Week 1 loss to Green Bay Packers. So that's a story in itself. Detroit's not lead at the half. Things aren't looking too great in the second.
No, you're right, Danny, and it was just kind of uncharacteristic. Listening to Coach and what he said, things just didn't happen. When we need to have big plays, normally we come up with the big plays either defensively or offensively. We just weren't able to do it today, and again, I think a lot of that was in our run game. If you think about 19 rushes for almost 90-something yards in the first half and only 6 rushes in the second half, that's just really 4 rushes in the second half. That's just not going to get it done.
Jared Goff, 23 of 29 today for 203 passing yards, 2 TDs, 1 to J-Mo, 1 to Sam Laporta, and Goff is standing by at the podium now. Let's hear from QB1.
All right. Just tough day offensively. You guys were coming in kind of humming, averaging 34. Just to get 17 today, just from your perspective, I know you haven't watched the tape yet, but just maybe what weren't you guys doing offensively?
I thought we moved the ball decently. I think we were limited possessions, certainly, and so were they on offense. We were kind of both playing that game of long possessions, and when you play that game, you got to score. You got to finish them with touchdowns, and they did, and we didn't. That first drive, getting the touchdown would have been nice. Field goals, consolation prize there, but then we had a couple drives we just didn't. We 3 and out or 5 and out at punt, and so if you're going to play that time of possession game, you got to score at the end of them, and they did it more than we did.
What did the officials tell you about the nullified touchdown catch, and were you surprised at all that the call came down?
Yeah, I got to do a little. I guess we all do a little research on what exactly went wrong, because my hands were not under center and I was set to begin the play. And as far as I was concerned, I thought that was the only thing I needed to do. They were saying that I've never heard this, that I was, because of how close I was to the center, that then declares me as a quarterback, and then I can't go in motion. I was only under the impression that it was my hands under center. So that's a new version of that rule that I had never heard of, and I think a lot of our coaches had never heard of. yeah, and if that is the rule, then I guess we need to do a little bit more research on that.
But just the review coming so late, did they say, I mean, you guys were lining up for the extra point, is that
Yeah,
New York or?
I don't know. It's essentially it's an illegal formation that they're calling from the booth, which I've never heard of, but that's not the difference in the game. It was a cool play that would have been fun to score on, and would have been nice to get a touchdown there, but I don't think that by any means would have flipped the game. There was a ton of other plays that they made that we didn't.
One of the plays he did make was a 4th and 2 there. Just how uncharacteristic of Saint. He's been so reliable on those.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's not it. It never happened. So it's it's just something I know he wants back, but it's not anything that we'll think twice about.
Was it just a matter of, because the running game was really going for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and it just not cashing in at the end of the long drives? Because you guys moved it up and down the field pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's exactly what it is. We did run the ball well. I thought we threw the ball well at times, and finishing those drives with touchdowns is what it came down to. They did it. We didn't. They're a dang good team, and certainly offensively, if you give them some runway in front of you, they're hard to catch. So we had to keep the game close or stay in the lead if we wanted to win that game. We got too far behind.
And Dan said he knew this game was going to be on the offense. He
Yep.
had to score at least 30 points. You guys knew that too, I'm sure.
Yep.
Threw everything out there, threw all the play at the goal line and everything else, and didn't quite happen. Does that make it even more disappointing, or what?
No, I think we knew the mentality. We wanted to score on every drive, and I think I kind of hit at the beginning. Like when we do those long drives, if we don't finish those with touchdowns, we're really putting ourselves behind the 8 ball a little bit. And unless we're able to, not allow them to finish them with touchdowns, but they were scoring, and they're a dang good offense, and so are we. And I thought they played just a little bit better than us. And I think I'm taking a little bit away from how well their defense played as well. I think you got to tip your cap to them. And Coach Spags over there and that defense was well prepared and did a lot of things to give us some issues.
One more guys to look for a defender take all over on super tight window. Just
Yeah.
take us through your perspective. What were you looking at, and just the catch itself?
Yeah, hell of a catch. Just threw it back there, tried to give him a chance, and unbelievable that he got his feet down. I didn't think he was going to be in when I threw it, but yeah, an unbelievable catch by him.
Dan said maybe getting kicked around like this, sometimes that could be good for a team. You get pretty high on yourself to win 4 straight. Can
Sure.
you look at this as a positive, somehow going into Monday night against
Yeah, not right now, I don't think. But yes, I think as the next day or two goes on, yeah, you'll be able to learn from it and get better and realize where our mistakes came that ended up getting us beat. And we got another great opponent coming up in prime time again, so it'll be another chance at that for us to come back and play a little bit better than we did tonight.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Guys, your prior success has put you at the top of the power rankings list. That's a good thing, right?
Well, just means you've gone from the underdog to the favorite.
But those expectations come from prior success, so that's okay.
What about Cure? Where do you guys rank on the power list?
Actually, we just got named by Forbes as one of the best car insurance companies in America.
Now you're the favorite.
Guess we have a lot in common.
Go Cure.
Go Lions.
Cure Auto Insurance. Drive well.
Detroit Lions Live is brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Log on to cure.com to see how you can save. Wide receiver Jameson Williams had a resurgence this week. 2 first-down catches in the first quarter, and then he comes up on the first drive of the second quarter with a big touchdown catch, 22 yards. We've been waiting for JMO to come back up. He's here again.
Yeah, you're right, Danny, and he's a weapon that we need to try to incorporate back into this offense because we see what he does. What he does is causes the safeties to stay deep because of his speed and his big play ability.
Sam Laporta, another big play guy. In the fourth quarter, comes up with an uncanny catch in the back of the end zone. 55 receiving yards on the day on 5 receptions. And that fourth quarter touchdown put the Lions within 3. They couldn't capitalize off of it, though.
Yeah, Danny, I'm telling you what, I don't know whether it was the throw or the catch. Both of them were great. It was just a great combination between Jared to Sam Laporta, and he put it just where only Sam could get it.
Only one.
And then Sam just getting his toes down inbounds. It was just a great play all around by those 2 All-Pros.
That connection between Laporta and Goff, also a work of art. Detroit is going to have to shake off this loss because they've got the 5-1 Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming to Detroit for a Monday Night Football showdown. Lomas, your first thoughts when you think about Baker Mayfield coming back to the Motor City?
He's dangerous. I mean, he's dangerous. He's a guy. Now, he's down weapons. I think he lost pretty much all his receivers. But Baker Mayfield is a gamer. This guy makes plays happen with his legs, and he makes plays happen with his arms. So he's a guy we're going to have to really try to bottle up, Danny, and try to take his weapons away from him.
Some final takeaways from tonight's loss against the Kansas City Chiefs. Some uncharacteristic moves by Detroit, some drops, not getting comfortable in the run game and owning play action like they're used to. You know, hopefully that defensive secondary is a little bit more healed up.
Yeah, Danny, that's the key. We got to be able to get healthy. We went through this last year. It's just so hard trying to incorporate guys into a system that has already been done. A lot of these guys we pulled up, we promoted up from the practice squad, and it's just very hard on Calvin Shepard and the rest of those defensive guys. So hopefully we can get some of our guys healthy, and hopefully these guys can get a little chemistry between themselves between now and the time we face Baker Mayfield and those Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Detroit falls to 4-2 on the season after a Sunday night loss to the Kansas City Chiefs right here inside Arrowhead Stadium. For Lomas Brown, I'm Dannie Rogers. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Detroit Lions Live postgame show presented by Curado Insurance. We will see you back home in the Motor City for Week 7.